it's vulnerable young people, I think, really, who may be on the margins of society and need some kind of package of support, whatever that might be, to help them deal with whatever issues they're going through at that point in time.
We work with schools to help them to engage children in a mainstream context. But at the end of the day, there are some children that whatever strategies we try in mainstream, it just isn't going to work for them.
And it's just a different way of education. It's not knocking the mainstream education, it's not knocking academics. Some students love the academic side. These students don't, for a variety of reasons. They're not engaging in that, but they're in charge of their own learning here, and it's about them. Somebody listening to them.
And we can do things very well in the council, but actually we know that other agencies or other parts of the third sector can do things better than we can. So if that's the evidence base, let's do it.
I don't really like the word alternative. It's either education or it's not, isn't it? And what 7KS does is provide us with a form of learning which meets the needs of some children that can't be accommodated in mainstream school.
Without that belief that that young person can achieve, it's not going to work, because the young people come through the door, they can be very angry, very negative, they don't want to be here. A lot of them on the initial visits will tell us point blank, I'm not coming here. So you've got to have a belief in taking all the barrage of abuse, disruptive behaviour, take all that on board in the first few weeks, but still believe that that young person can achieve, because if you don't believe that, you're not going to achieve a youth foundation, because that is the key thing, a belief in the young people.
Right, we're at the Bolton Lads Girls Club, we're on to Bar Road.
It's a town centre, youth centre. In its shortest sense. We have around about 3,500 young people who are members here, and they range from ages 8 up to 21. We're a 7-night-a-week youth facility. We're open basically when young people need us to be open. We certainly work in partnership on a number of projects with the local authority. Many of those are around mentoring, some of them are around accreditation, and young people's progression, and also around holiday provision. So what we provide for young people in the holidays is supported by the local authority.
You know, if this is about kind of how we support vulnerable young people, we know who those children are. We've got fantastic evidence base about, you know, where they are, what their issues are, and the particular kind of instances they found their families in. So it might not always be about providing activities based in a physical space like this, but for many kids it will be. So I think absolutely that more informal approach to providing, you know, activities and support for young people that's very much targeted to them and their circumstances has to be the way forward. And clearly the mentoring scheme is only one element of that, but nonetheless a really important one going forward as well.
I first came across it through my youth support worker, and he told me about it, and I came down in the holidays, and then my youth inclusion worker referred me to mentoring because of my behaviour within school and my relationship with my brother and my sisters, and then my mother went into hospital. But yeah, I'm a lot different, because like, I socialise here, but like I've got a lot more friends out at school. I get on with my work, I do everything that I'd want to do, and then I come here and I just enjoy what I do, really. Yeah.
What we have here is effectively a flagship, a wonderful environment, a very expensive building, a school in a sense that a lot of communities I think would be envious of. But I like that, because these children that we're dealing with deserve the best, and they're not used to getting the best. So it actually says to them, we think you're worth this investment. And I can see that other authorities would be well placed to replicate what's going on here in some way.
What we're doing is we're trying to engage the young person back into education. So we're taking something that interests them, and then we're building in as much as possible. So we start off with the Youth Achievement Award, say with fishing, but we can build in ICT by asking them to research equipment that they need to find out about a famous fisherman. So they research all that information, and they can put it in improving own learning and performance, they can put it in their Youth Achievement Award, and they can put it in their Level 1 portfolio. So they're working on 3 different qualifications and doing something that they really enjoy. And it links in very much with the latest national strategy on functional skills of your English, your maths and your ICT, and embedding them in other subjects. So you're making those subjects very relevant to the young person. A A lot of people assume that the young people that come to us have got low levels of literacy and numeracy. Some have because they've been out of education, but some are extremely bright. The young man that's on a mechanics apprenticeship course, another one on a building apprenticeship. We have another young lady who is hoping to go to Lincoln University, and she would have been getting her 5 A to C grades without a doubt, but she didn't engage in the curriculum. She fell out with the teachers. She was very disruptive. Dad, very anti her coming to the college because we didn't do GCSEs. We supported her to do her GCSEs within school, so her English and her maths. So she did do that alongside what she did here. But he did come back at a later date and said, although I didn't agree with it, it was the best thing for her. Well, when they came to us, they were classed as 0 rated because they weren't going to get any GCSEs. They were at risk of permanent exclusion, so they would have been out of education, and they're leaving here with 5 level 1s. So they've made that progression, but it's how they feel about themselves as well. It's the fact that, yeah, I can do it, I can achieve, and that's a key thing.
And what we have here is a head teacher who is very skilled and very knowledgeable, and she works with the staff to ensure that the learning ethos is there as well, because it's one thing to have a caring environment, but at the end of the day this is an educational institution and we want educational outcomes as well. Of course it's not always a bed of roses and things go wrong. That's the nature of the beast, and obviously we have some children here who have complex issues to deal with in their lives. I meet with the head here and with other directors, and we look at what's going well, what could be improved, and we have a contract, but within that contract there are very tight restrictions, and we hold 7KS, believe you me, to those requirements. So it is a very open and true partnership, and you know we freely admit where it doesn't work, but you know generally it does work for a large number of children that come here.
In 2004 we had 8% achieved 5 level 1s, which is equivalent to 5 A to G grades. That went up from 8 to 13. This year we're looking at 37% that will achieve 5. Everyone will leave with at least 1.
Trying to take a collective responsibility for vulnerable people in our society at whatever age, and clearly young people in particular, in a sense that they're only a problem because society lets them be a problem. And if we all kind of stepped up collectively as a community, then potentially we can make a really big difference to the life chances of young people going forward, and that really spurs me on. And the fact that I know it works, it's very obvious from the evidence base that it works.